Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cozy English Stories. Today, let's settle in and enjoy a story together. Our tale is called The Cost of Living Fast. It's about a young man who learns an important lesson about what truly matters in life. Let's begin. Leo was a man in constant motion. His life in the city was a blur of early mornings, late nights, and endless deadlines. He worked as a financial analyst, a job that demanded all of his time and energy. His apartment was sleek and modern, filled with the latest gadgets, but it rarely felt like a home. It was more like a charging station for his tired body. Leo believed that success was measured by speed. The faster you worked, the faster you climbed the corporate ladder. The faster you lived, the more you experienced. His phone was always buzzing with notifications, emails from his boss, alerts from the stock market, and reminders for meetings he had almost forgotten. He ate his meals standing up in the kitchen, quickly swallowing a sandwich while scrolling through news updates. His friends would invite him out, but he often declined. Too busy, he would text back, his fingers flying across the screen. He promised himself he would relax once he reached his next goal, secured his next promotion, or closed his next big deal. But next never seemed to arrive. One Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. Leo was rushing to a meeting across town, weaving through the crowded streets. He was late and his heart pounded with a familiar mix of stress and adrenaline. He checked his watch, then his phone, then his watch, again. As he stepped onto a busy crosswalk, his mind was already in the boardroom, preparing his presentation. He didn't see the bicycle courier swerving to avoid a pedestrian. He didn't hear the warning shout. He only felt the sudden, jarring impact. Leo woke up in a hospital bed. His first sensation was a dull, throbbing pain in his left leg, which was wrapped in a heavy cast. A doctor with kind eyes and a gentle smile stood by his bedside. "You're very lucky, Mr. Evans," the doctor said. "You have a broken leg and a few bruises, but it could have been much worse. You'll need to stay off your feet for at least 6 weeks. No work, no rushing around. Just rest." The words hit Leo harder than the bicycle had. 6 weeks? The thought of being still for so long filled him with panic. His work, his projects, his entire life was built on momentum. How could he just stop? The first few days were agonizing. Confined to his apartment, Leo felt like a caged animal. He tried to work from his sofa, but the pain and the medication made it impossible to concentrate. His phone, once his connection to the world, now felt like a source of anxiety. Every email was a reminder of what he was missing. Frustrated and bored, he finally switched it off and threw it onto the other end of the couch. The silence that followed was deafening. With nothing else to do, Leo started to notice things he had never seen before. He noticed the way the morning sun filled his living room, casting long, dancing shadows on the wall. He noticed the intricate patterns on the leaves of his neglected houseplant. He started watching the world outside his window. He saw children playing in the park across the street, their laughter echoing in the afternoon air. He saw an elderly couple who walked their dog at the same time every day, holding hands. His neighbor, an elderly woman named Clara, knocked on his door one afternoon, holding a bowl of warm soup. "I heard about your accident," she said kindly. "Thought you might appreciate a home-cooked meal." Leo had lived next to Clara for 3 years, but had never spoken to her for more than a few seconds. He gratefully accepted the soup, and they began to talk. Clara told him stories about the neighborhood, about her late husband, and about her love for gardening. For the first time in years, Leo had a conversation that wasn't about work or deadlines. Slowly, Leo's perspective began to shift. He borrowed books from Clara and rediscovered the joy of getting lost in a story. He started listening to music, not as background noise, but really listening to the melodies and the lyrics. He even bought a set of watercolors online and began to paint, creating messy but joyful pictures of the view from his window. He was clumsy at first, but it didn't matter. The process was calming, meditative. One day, his boss called. He sounded impatient. "Leo, when are you coming back?" "We're swamped here." A few weeks ago, that call would have sent Leo into a spiral of guilt and anxiety. But now he felt a strange sense of calm. "I'll be back when my leg is healed," he replied, his voice steady. "My health comes first. After the call, he realized he wasn't even thinking about the promotion anymore. As the weeks passed, Leo's leg began to heal, and so did something deeper inside him. He started to understand that by living so fast, he had been missing out on life itself. He had been chasing a future so relentlessly that he had forgotten to live in the present. He had accumulated wealth and status, but he had lost connection to others, to nature, and to himself. When the 6 weeks were over, the doctor removed his cast. Leo took his first steps with a new appreciation for the simple act of walking. He didn't rush. He walked slowly, deliberately, feeling the ground beneath his feet. He went to the park and sat on a bench, not checking his phone, but simply watching the world go by. Returning to work was a strange experience. The office was just as frantic as he remembered. People rushed past his desk, their faces tight with stress, but Leo was different. He worked diligently, but he no longer stayed late. He took a full hour for lunch and ate in the park instead of at his desk. He started saying no to extra projects that would compromise his well-being. His colleagues were surprised by the change. "You seem so relaxed," one of them commented. Leo just smiled. "I had a long vacation," he said. That evening, instead of heading straight home, Leo knocked on Clara's door. "Would you like to have dinner with me tonight?" he asked. "I've been practicing my cooking." Clara's face lit up. As they sat and shared a meal, Leo felt a deep sense of contentment he had never known in his old life. He had slowed down, and in doing so, he had found something far more valuable than any promotion or deal. He had found balance. He had found joy in the small moments. He had found himself. Leo learned that life isn't a race to be won. It's a journey to be savored. Sometimes the most important thing we can do is to simply stop, take a breath, and look around. The cost of living fast is missing out on the beauty of living slowly. Thank you for listening to our story today. I hope it gave you something to think about. Sometimes we all need a little reminder to slow down and appreciate the world around us. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking the video and subscribing to Cozy English Stories for more. We look forward to seeing you again next time. Take care!